Happy Tuesday, television family. We're back for another exciting day of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we're ready to bid adieu to November. It's the last day of the month. December 1st is tomorrow. The unseasonably warm weather continues, although it will be a couple of degrees cooler today. Really not much. The last real blast of warm air comes in overnight tonight into Wednesday. We have a very good chance of setting another record high temperature tomorrow for the first day of December. Of course, we did that on Sunday. We did it a couple times in the month of November. It's been a mild one, and it's going to continue for the balance of the week. We're going to gradually cool down. By the time we get to the weekend, we'll have complete forecast details coming up. I'll also take you up to the mountain passes. Well, you're going to have to go up to the mountain passes. We'll show you some video and give you the pass report. No big deal. Raining, that's all it is. News, got that. Sports, how about them Seahawks? Yeah. Cracking one. Also, believe it or not, high school winter sports are already underway, and the basketball teams will start playing games that count starting tonight. We'll talk about that, and we'll talk wild hockey. Not only when we get to sports in the first half of the hour, but in the back half of the hour. We do it every Tuesday. We visit via Skype with Sean Zears, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. He will be my guest in the back half of the program and everything else you need to start your day on this last day of November. So, without further ado, 2 minutes after the hour, here we go. We got some pretty nice views, although we're still a ways from sunrise. Sunrise this morning, 7:26, a couple minutes later than it was yesterday. Sunset tonight, 4:12, 8 hours and 46 minutes of daylight. That's the cross camera, but we have it pointed down towards Rock Island. You can see the ribbon of traffic on Highway 28 coming into town for the most part, or out of town. There is a sizable number of people who live in the Wenatchee Valley but actually work out in Quincy at the server farms and things like that. So you see quite a bit of traffic on Highway 28 and the mighty Columbia River. You can see Rock Island Dam. So we have that pointed to where the sun will eventually peak over the East Wenatchee Bench. By the way, it's 46 degrees outside of our studios, a couple of degrees warmer than it was yesterday. Yesterday's high, 61, almost tied the record. The record high on a Monday for the 29th day of November, 63. That was set back in 1995. Now, again, we're not going to get to 61 today. We don't think so. But a record high for tomorrow is a distinct possibility. By the way, yesterday's high, 61. Our normal high, 38. It was 23 degrees above normal yesterday. Incredible. Camera 2. Let's pay a visit to the Waterville camera, because I believe those blinky lights that you see off in the distance is the lovely hamlet of Waterville. Looks like there's some ominous clouds hanging over Waterville. By the way, it could get a little breezy at times up there in Waterville and out in the Columbia Basin. There is some wind in the forecast for some of our viewing area, not here in the Wenatchee Valley. The lee of the Cascades are going to protect us as the system I talked about comes in tonight into Wednesday with that warm air. Camera number 3. It's off to see our Rondo Rock camera. I wonder if that big thing right in the middle of your screen is a Rondo Rock. Right in the front? I don't know. We call it the Rondo Rock camera. I've never heard of anything called a Rondo Rock until we put the camera up there. You can see Turtle Rock. You can see the lights of Rocky Reach Dam. And way off in the distance, Mission Ridge, which lost a lot of snow, as you might imagine, with the warm temperatures, especially on Sunday and again yesterday. There's nothing you can do about that. Mother Nature is going to... Now, the nice thing about the snow melting is that, well, there's not a lot of snow left to be melting, so they're not really worried about rising rivers and streams much anymore, because the snow in the passes and in the mountains, it's pretty gone now. Camera number 4. To Omi Gardens we go, looking back down towards the Wenatchee Valley. Very light traffic this morning on the Onabashan Bridge, from what I can tell. You can actually see the cross. You see it there? Lit up in the upper left of your screen. That's pretty darn cool. I like that view. Good morning to Wenatchee for the most part, with a little sliver of East Wenatchee paying us a visit as well. So, high temps. It is going to be mild, to say the least. Now, again, we're not going to be up to 61. We don't think today, anyway. We have a slide to show for you from the National Weather Service, the predicted afternoon highs, with one exception. We'll get to that in a minute. So we're going to be cooler today. Not by much, but cooler. That's still very mild for the end of November. And then look at Wednesday. We're going to be bumping right up. You see those red stars? That means close to tying or even setting record high temperatures on Wednesday. We could get past 60 fairly easily on Wednesday. It's a distinct possibility. Again, the record high for tomorrow, 62. That was set back in 1972. So those red stars mean close to record high. So it's going to be very mild out of Moses Lake, very warm in Wenatchee. Look at Thursday's high. That's pretty interesting. That high temperature Thursday that you see is going to be in the morning. And then as the day progresses, it's going to get colder and colder. In fact, our high temperature Thursday could very well be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And as the day progresses Thursday, the warm air exits, the cool air comes in. We're actually going to get colder, not warmer. We don't see that. Very interesting weather pattern, to say the least. Now, as far as the breezy conditions, most of the winds, again, are going to be relegated to the peaks of the Cascades out in the Columbia Basin and to the east of us. We're going to be protected from the wind for the most part. Now, there are some exceptions. Chelan, you're going to see the wind pick up a little bit. The Waterville Plateau, obviously, going to see a little windy conditions. Maybe up on the Wenatchee Heights and a few of the canyons could see some wind pick up. But for the most part, the Wenatchee Valley is going to be calm. But if you go out in the Columbia Basin tomorrow and Wednesday, you are going to notice it's going to be a little breezier there than it will be here. So, from the National Weather Service, here we go. Lots of clouds, again, very mild, 55 for the high today. Our normal high, 38 degrees. That's just crazy warm. 45 for the overnight low tonight. 63, folks. That's what we think is going to happen for the afternoon high on Wednesday. 63. If we get there tomorrow, that would be a new record high. This is the last of the systems that's coming in tonight. Going to last through Wednesday. That's where we're going to have maybe a little bit of wind at times, but not much. 43 for the overnight low on Wednesday night. Thursday, again, here's the strange thing on Thursday. That high temperature that you see at 52 will probably be in the morning hours. It's going to warm up to about 52 or 53 at about 4 or 5 a.m., and then the cold front's going to come in, and it's actually going to get colder as Thursday progresses, not warmer. And then we start cooling down, but not by much. 46, 49, 45, 47, all of those temperatures are well above normal. Now, the snow level is going to drop down to about 2,400 feet by the time we get to the weekend, but there's also not a lot of moisture associated with the lowering of the snow level. Crazy way to start December, wouldn't you say? Mountain Pass conditions brought to you by D.A. Davidson, the strength of a trusted partner, personalized solutions to meet your financial needs. Member SIPC. You're good to go. Look at all the snow melt on Stevens Pass. It is raining there. Raining pretty hard, and it's going to rain all day today, and it's going to rain tonight. Then they're going to calm down, and then that's it. Stevens Pass, you're fine. Roadway is bare and wet. It continues to rain. Let's do a live shot of Blewett. No snow, none. It's fine. It's bare and dry, not raining on US 97 Blewett. It is raining on I-90. Let's take a look at Snoqualmie Pass. Again, your only issue there, standing water, is it continues to rain, as it has been for the last couple of days. The mountain passes, the ski resorts, Snoqualmie and Alpental and Stevens Pass, they have seen almost all of their snow gone. It's gone. Rain today, rain tonight, dry Wednesday, dry Thursday, dry Friday. Next chance of snow, measurable snow in the Cascades, isn't until Sunday night. So what you see now is really what the case is going to be all week long, and for the most part into the weekend. The next measurable snow in the mountain pass is not until Sunday night, and it will rain for the most part today and tonight, with the exception of Blewett. They are high and dry. You're fine. Good to go. Buckle up and down the road you go. All right. Past reports are in the books. Weather is in the books. It's 9 minutes after the hour, 1 minute break, and the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Kids are resilient. I just love their energy. They bounce back so quickly. I love the stories they tell. I love just their charisma, their character. I love to see that subtle smile that you pull out of a kid, you know, when you start talking with them about something they really like. I just love what I do, and I can't imagine I would be as happy doing anything else.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
10 minutes after the hour, we just bumped up a couple of degrees. We're at 48 now in downtown Wenatchee. Mid-50s anyway, maybe a little bit warmer than that today. As this unseasonably warm weather continues, a record high temperature to begin December is a distinct possibility on Wednesday, and then a gradual cool down, but really not that much by the time we get to the weekend. We'll begin with this story. East Wenatchee police are on the lookout for 3 men who they say robbed the Happy Crop Shop at gunpoint on Sunday night. They say 3 men entered the Rock Island Road cannabis store just before the 11 p.m. closing time, armed with handguns. They reportedly assaulted one of the 2 employees with a handgun and then restrained them both with duct tape in the business office. Police say the employees were able to free themselves within minutes. They were able to call police. Police are asking that anybody with information on the suspects or if they have any video footage of the area near the Happy Crop Shop to contact Detective Brandon Johnson on the Rivercom non-emergency line at 509-663-9911. Republican King County Council member Reagan Dunn has thrown his hat into the proverbial ring. He will challenge 8th District Congressional Congresswoman Kim Schreier in next year's election. Dunn is the son of Jennifer Dunn, who represented the 8th District in Congress from 1993 to 2005. Former U.S. Representative Dave Reichert, the Republican who held the seat in the 8th District from 2004 to 2018, will chair Dunn's campaign. The primary race shaping up to feature Schreier, Dunn, and Republican Jesse Jensen competing for the 2 spots in the general election ballot. Jensen, of course, ran for the seat in 2020, lost to Schreier by about 15,000 votes in the general election. Dunn has won election to 5 terms on the King County Council, and in 2012 ran for State Attorney General, but was defeated by the current Attorney General, Bob Ferguson, in the general election. Thanks to grant funding, Chelan County has launched a new diversion program. They launched it in December. The idea is to address mental health issues that is encountered by law enforcement agencies throughout our valley when they respond to calls. Mental health counselor and program coordinator Anna Gonzalez and the chief of patrol for the Chelan County Sheriff's Office, Adam Musgrove, visited with me last week to talk about how the diversion program works.
One of the goals that we've identified is obviously helping these individuals, diverting them from jail or higher level of care, which would be the ERs, and getting them to treatment or any resource in the community to get their basic needs met. And then obviously identifying any gaps of where individuals struggle to find services and kind of bringing that back to the community and treatment providers and saying, hey, this isn't working for our folks here. So it could be us just identifying individuals in the community on the street saying, hey, you know, I've recognized you, I know you through the community. Is there anything that we can we do to help? Then there's also that reactive piece. So we're in the cars, we get a call that sounds like, you know, it may benefit from having a mental health professional come to the scene, and we would go, and it just can be from anything. Like I said, it could be just talking to an individual about kind of where they're at in their day, or, you know, we've had to the point where we've had people barricaded in their vehicles. So it just, there's no typical day, and you never know what you're going to get.
People always ask me all the time, what is the #1 problem facing law enforcement? And consistently, they always ask me, is it domestic violence? Is it drugs? You know, what is it? And without hesitation, my answer, 100%, the #1 problem facing law enforcement is mental health issues. We may not deal with somebody on drugs every single day or deal with a domestic every single day, but we will absolutely deal with someone who is in crisis, who is having mental health issues every single day. And so it is our #1 problem that we're facing in law enforcement. They are very volatile type of situations. With all of the new legislative changes that have come down the line this year, one of the things that it addresses is de-escalation. And so with that, our program now is designed to specifically address these issues of mental health and getting our deputies trained. And that's why we're embedding folks like Anna and her team into the patrol cars to get out there and take a different approach to it. Traditionally, it's always been a issue of where we deal with somebody who's in crisis or having mental health issues. We do one or two things. We either take them to the hospital or we take them to the jail, and we drop them off and we put them in somebody else's lap and essentially, you know, wipe our hands with it and be done with it. But as a patrol sergeant at the time, I remember going out and people, even victims out on these calls, were saying, this person doesn't need to go to jail. this person needs help. And it just started really, clicking with me. It's like, well, these are victims of crimes of something that just happened with these folks. And even they want to see these folks get help. And so it just kind of started, hitting in my head there. It's like, we need to solve this problem and not just pass the buck on to somebody else.
This year's influenza season is well underway, as you know, but it's also the second year of the COVID-19 pandemic. There is a safe and effective vaccination for both COVID-19 and the seasonal flu, but the State Department of Health says childhood flu vaccinations are down. They're down about 25% compared to last year. Simon Mendoza is a medical provider with Columbia Valley Community Health, and he sat down with their very own Jefferson Robbins and said the best thing for folks to do is to get a flu shot and a COVID shot.
What do you tell your patients about flu vaccination? It's the season to get it. The vaccinations are available. What's your advice?
My advice is absolutely to get it. It's the best protection that we can provide ourselves and our children. And even though there's been a decrease in cases with the social distancing, masking that we've been doing since March 2020, there is reduced population immunity, so that increases possibility of having a more severe and early influenza outbreak.
Is it safe to get a flu shot and a COVID shot in one sitting?
Absolutely, and I usually recommend that people get both. Just get one and done, or two and done.
And one can't protect from the other. You can't get cross protection from COVID by getting your flu shot.
Exactly, they're completely different vaccines.
If somebody's experiencing symptoms, and the symptoms of these two ailments can be very similar, is there a way that I as a patient can distinguish, well, this feels like the flu, or well, this feels like COVID? Is there a way for me to be certain or sure without getting a test?
I really wouldn't recommend that people try to distinguish the two, because it's hard enough for healthcare providers to try to distinguish it. One of the symptoms that is common of COVID-19 that we don't really see of the flu is the loss of taste or smell. But I wouldn't rely on that alone, and I do recommend that people get tested. We are frequently testing people for both. I know the CDC is as well, just to get that surveillance data.
Is it possible to contract both diseases at the same time?
Yes, we have seen that among hospitalized patients. So obviously having two different viruses can overwhelm our immune system and cause more severe illness.
When patients come to you asking about the flu vaccine, what concerns are they expressing about whether they should get it? Are they expressing concerns for their own health or for their children's health?
So the most common misconception that I hear is, I got the flu vaccine last year or whenever, and then I got the flu. That's not possible, because these flu shots are inactivated or weakened forms of the virus. The other concern is that getting both of them together might overwhelm the immune system. But in an otherwise healthy person, our immune system can deal with getting the two immunizations. And like I said, we actually recommend getting the two to get the best protection.
By the way, Jefferson's entire conversation with Simon will air on tomorrow's edition of this very program. And finally, you better not shout, you better not cry, you better not, I forgot the words. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's going to be at Hooked on Toys this Saturday. Check it out. He'll be there at 12 noon. Yeah, he is going to be coming in to Hooked on Toys in a Life Flight Network helicopter. That's pretty cool. Then you can get your picture taken with Santa. Lifeline ambulance will be there. They'll have some coffee and hot cocoa and donuts and cookies. Douglas County Fire District 2 will be there with their fire trucks. Kids love trucks. It'll be lots of fun. So helicopters, trucks, toys, all part of the Community Toy Drive brought to you by Les Schwab. We're proud to be a part of it here. Go check it out. Come see Santa. Again, he's going to arrive by a helicopter on Saturday, 12 noon, in the parking lot at Hooked on Toys. And you can go to the Facebook page for the NCW Community Toy Drive for more information. There's your news at 20 minutes after the hour. Grant and the whole crew will be on at 5, 6, and 10. Not the whole crew. Our studio's not big enough. We'll have a newscast for you at 5, 6, and 10 with a preview. Here's Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, our unseasonably warm late fall weather continues today with possibly record-breaking temperatures tomorrow for the first day of December. I'll have the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom has results and reaction to last night's Seattle-Washington Monday night football game. That and all the day's news stories coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Love to hear from you. You folks are pretty good at chiming in. Whether you just want to drop us a note and say hi, you got a news tip, go to our Facebook page, use the Messenger app, email us directly, news@ncwlife.com, or go to our homepage, ncwlife.com, and you'll see the Contact Us icon. You fill out the form, push send, it comes here. You don't have to make the sound effect when you push send. You can just push it. Sound effect is extra. All right, going to take a break. When we come back, sports reaction from Monday Night Football and the Seahawks. But the Kraken one, we'll have highlights of that. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Hey, Ellie, what's troubling you?
No one cares about insulation.
Out of sight, out of mind, I guess.
But it's just so effective and inexpensive. It's one of the best ways to warm your home. Sean's PUD $1 per square foot rebate can often pay for the cost of a DIY blow-in installation to an attic. So are you gonna check out the rebates at SeanPUD.org/save today?
Yeah!
Can you help me down? Just go to SeanPUD.org/save today.
If you are looking for dependable car service and repair, visit the good guys at Quick Lube and Tune. They've been keeping cars and trucks in the Wenatchee Valley running smooth for 35 years. Quick Lube and Tune is your hometown shop for a 10-minute oil change, complete tune-ups, alignments, brakes, mufflers, air conditioning service, and more. Get more life out of your vehicle by bringing it to the local guys you can trust at Quick Lube and Tune on South Wenatchee Avenue.
22 minutes after the hour of sports, the Seattle offense, again, was just lousy last night, but they made it close enough. But they still lost to the Washington football team. Monday Night Football, the final was 17-15. At one point, the Seahawks offense had 5 consecutive 3-and-outs in the second half, but an overturned touchdown on 4th down for Washington gave Seattle the ball at its own 4-yard line, 2:19 remaining, no timeouts. Russell Wilson, 10 plays, 96 yards. He connected with Freddie Swain on a 32-yard touchdown pass with 15 seconds left to come within 2. The 2-point conversion to tie it intercepted, and then Seattle recovered an onside kick, only it was reversed by a penalty. They kicked again. Washington recovered. The game was over. Coach Pete Carroll says the disappointment of the loss doesn't outweigh the pride of the effort.
A really frustrating trip for us to come all the way out and hang in the game. We didn't play very well, complimentary at all, and but to have a chance to to be right there at the end, I'm really proud of the way these guys keep battling and fighting hard and doing what we need to do to hit the heck out of people and make things happen when we get a chance. But the results just aren't coming, man. We can't get these games won, and I'm not accepting it, and I'm not taking a sideways step. I'm not stepping anywhere but forward, and going to keep driving to get the very next chance we get and go get a win and get going. And I don't expect these guys at any time to do anything but that. I want to keep just stepping forward and keep moving and battle our way through it. It's been really frustrating, obviously, but just not accepting. We're just going to keep going.
Russell Wilson was 20 for 31, 247 yards, a couple of touchdowns. Russell Wilson says the losing is hard, but he still believes in his teammates.
It's challenging, it's challenging right now. But at the same time, I know, like I said earlier, I know what we're capable of, and what we're capable of has to show up, and we have to make that happen. So, we're going to, like I said, I don't know any other way, and I'm not one of those guys to be down and out and not believe and to give up and give in. It's just, I'm going to keep working my butt off every day. This team is too, and that's what we're going to make sure of.
So the Seahawks, making the playoffs. Well, if they win the rest of their games, now wait a minute. If they win the rest of their games and then a couple of teams declare bankruptcy and drop out of the league, we have a shot. They'll host San Francisco Sunday, 1:25 on CBS. The Seattle Kraken, though, they're victorious. They won for the fourth time in the last 5 games, 7-4 over the Sabres last night in Buffalo. Seattle got off to a quick start. They scored 2 goals shorthanded and pretty much kept Buffalo away.
Intercepted, a pass shot off the goalpost, they score! The giveaway as the puck came right back to Carson Soucy, who blasted it home, and a shorthanded goal puts Seattle in the lead. To the point, and then it's tipped out to center ice, and Darlene trying to steal it away, but the Seattle Rock coming back again with a shot right on a rebound, and it's on the goal line, but it doesn't matter, it went into the net. And Seattle has scored another shorthanded goal. Back to the point. Long shot taken there and cleared free, but now it takes another one. Came wide of the net, and they score on the rebound. And Seattle has really silenced the Buffalo fans with a 3-0 lead. Jared McCann. In over the line. Oposo took his shot. Deflected wide. The rebound. They score. Buffalo bouncing right back in there and putting it behind the goaltender Dringer. And Brett Murray stuffed it home. Hag chasing after his man. It goes to the board. Came out in front of the shot. They scored. Right out in front of the net. It was picked off by Jared McCann for his second of the night. Darlene gives it to Thompson. He blasted it right off the goaltender's arm. That one banked in from the back of the net. Jeff Skinner popped it home. To the point comes with a screen shot in the goal crease. They scramble. They score. Seattle comes back to make it a 3-goal lead once again. Into the corner, intercepted by the Sabres. And a quick shot right on the rebound. They score! Jeff Skinner, his second of the night. Taken away now by Gourde. Gourde gets it ahead. Into the line, cleared in front of the shot. They score! Posto digs in deep and goes over the line. Takes it back to the point and scores! Poso fired that from the point. If it didn't touch anybody, it's his goal. Scooped high in the air and down the ice now with a wide open net as it's going to be picked up and fired into the net by Mason Appleton. 7-4, the final score.
Kraken remain on the road. They'll be in Detroit, the Motor City, on Wednesday to take on the Red Wings, 4:30 on Root Sports Northwest. All right, to the Les Schwab men's college basketball scoreboard we go. Gonzaga got off to a pretty slow start, but they eventually got it going, and they beat Tarleton 64-55 in Spokane. Rasir Bolton led the Zags. He had 17 points. The tall guy, Chet Holmgren, he had 15, following Friday's loss to Duke, by the way. Gonzaga dropped this week from number 1 to number 3 in the AP poll. The winter basketball season gets underway tonight for several area high schools. The girls' schedule is at 5:30, begins at 5:30. Cascade is not being rude, but they will be in Sultan. The 6 o'clock games have a Friday at Quincy, Brewster hosting Chelan, Bridgeport travels to Moses Lake Christian, Waterville Mansfield will visit Cascade Christian Academy, Pateros will host Soap Lake. The Wenatchee girls are in Ellensburg. The game is supposed to be a girls-boys doubleheader. Now it's just the ladies. They'll tip it off at 7 o'clock. Boys tonight, Cascade at Sultan at 7 o'clock. At 7:30, you got Moses Lake at Walla Walla. Quincy will host Ephrata. Let's see, Chelan's at Brewster. Bridgeport travels to Moses Lake Christian. Waterville Mansfield at Cascade Christian. And Pateros will host Soap Lake. The Mariners have spent the last few days making some big moves during the offseason. They traded 2 prospects to the Padres for All-Star second baseman Adam Frazier. The 29-year-old says he's excited to become a Mariner. General Manager Jerry DiPoto says, well, he's going to add something to the lineup.
I'm excited about it. The team's obviously trying to win right now, and that's what I want to do. So, I got to watch them a little bit last year, followed along, their second half. It's just really fun to watch and get a group of guys that seem very close, tight-knit. So looking forward to getting in there and going to work with them.
Yeah. We talked about going into this offseason with the hope of adding impact to the middle of our lineup and creating more length to our lineup. And I think Adam Frazier answers the length to the lineup riddle. He just makes us a better, more complete team. I believe that. He can hit at the top of the lineup. He can move the lineup from roughly any position. He can play second. He can touch third. He's played both left and right. And that just gives us so much flexibility with what we do with the other players.
Mariners also signed Robbie Ray, who is the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner. They got him from Tampa Bay as a free agent. He signed a 5-year deal worth $115 million. Keep in mind, if you're a baseball fan, you already know this, the collective bargaining agreement between the Players Association and the owners expires at midnight tonight, and there will be a lockout, and then we'll see if they'll be playing baseball come spring training in February. Keep your fingers crossed. Those are just some of the games that people are playing. At 30 minutes after the hour, your obscure holiday, it is Computer Security Day. The day after Cyber Monday. Should have been, anyway. The rule of thumb always when you're shopping online is you look for that little padlock in the address bar to make sure it is secure, but there's just a lot of it is just plain common sense. Make sure your antivirus software is current, up to date, and running, that your firewall is turned on, that you have a very strong password, and that you don't use the same password across multiple sites that require a password. Make sure that a password is required for anybody to even use your computer. Try not to write your password down. All the basic stuff that people still don't do, do it. Look for that padlock. It's everything. So they're out there, ransomware attacks and you name it. Anybody's out there who are smart enough who can figure out how to hack into your account. Before you know it, you ain't got no dough. So World Computer Security Day. Be smart, be safe. Well, the be safe part. Be smart, you're on your own on that. 32 minutes after the hour, today in history. Aunt Elizabeth Hodges was just taking a nap on her couch at her house in Sylacauga, Alabama on the afternoon of November 30th, 1954, 67 years ago today. She was asleep when something crashed through the roof of her house, bounced off her big console radio, and hit her. She was badly bruised, otherwise fine. This thing came out of her, just out of nowhere, crashing through her roof. It hit her. It was a meteorite. It's the only known instance of a human being being struck by an object from outer space. The meteorite was confiscated by the local police chief, who then turned it over to the United States Air Force. Well, Aunt Elizabeth Hodge and her landlord, Bertie Guy, said, wait a minute, doesn't the meteorite belong to us? Bertie Guy owned the property. He said, it landed on my property. Don't I get it? They had offers of up to $5,000 for the meteorite. The Hodgeses and Bertie Guy got together. They settled. They paid $500 for the rock. They had to pay the Air Force to get the rock back. This would have been a great lawsuit. Eventually, by the time they got ready to sell the rock, everybody kind of forgot about it. They got nothing for it. Imagine getting hit by a meteorite. It happened to her 67 years ago today. This is the 39th anniversary of the day. Go down to your local record store and buy the brand new album from Michael Jackson. It's called Thriller. And within a year and a half, it became the biggest selling album ever. And it is still the biggest selling album ever. 66 million copies. It hit record stores on this date, November 30th, 1982. 39 years ago today. 23 years ago today, Exxon and Mobil became ExxonMobil. They signed a merger agreement. They by signing the merger agreement, $73.7 billion, they became the largest company in the world. This massive monstrosity, ExxonMobil, but they got their own comeuppance in the end. ExxonMobil was the largest company in the world when they signed the deal. It is now the 23rd largest company in the world. 20 years ago today, they got him. Gary Ridgway was on his way to the Kenworth plant in Renton where he spray painted trucks for a living. They got him. They had DNA evidence that he had voluntarily given up to the police 4 years earlier. Using DNA technology, Gary Ridgway arrested and charged with 4 murders in the famous Green River murder case. He would eventually be convicted of killing 49 women. He confessed to killing 71 women. Police say he probably killed 71 women, but they only charged him with the murders of the bodies that they could find. Many of the 20 or so leftover bodies will never be found, but they caught him 20 years ago today. Birthdays: Samuel Langhorne Clemens, Mark Twain, the father of American literature. Of course, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and various other outstanding literary works. Maybe America's greatest novelist. I think there's a chance at that. I'm a Jack London fan myself, with a little Steinbeck thrown in. He was born in the state in 1835, died in 1910 at the age of 74, and Sir Winston Churchill. Let's see, the most influential people of the 20th century: Vladimir Lenin, Jonas Salk, Richard Oppenheimer, FDR would have to be on that list, and of course Winston Churchill, who pretty much single-handedly rallied the English people to stay in the war. Winston Churchill, born in the state in 1874, died in 1965 at the age of 90. Mike McNally's got an opinion right around the corner in my conversation that we do it every Tuesday with Sean Zears, the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Have faith, Wild fans. It's a young team that's going to get better. We'll talk to Sean when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
At Wenatchee Power Sports, we proudly offer the Polaris product line. Polaris builds the highest quality side-by-side in the industry, with off-road capability that's second to none. The Polaris pre-order program allows customers to purchase the vehicle they want without having to select from limited dealer inventory. The Wenatchee Valley has year-round access to some of the best ORV trails in the Northwest. Start your adventure here at Wenatchee Power Sports.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, many American Christians want a Christian president, one who honors God, prays, seeks divine wisdom, doesn't sleep with prostitutes, maybe. Now, I'm all for that too, but we have to understand there are things about leading this country and adhering to the oath of office that don't exactly jive with what Jesus taught us. Now, seriously. When 9/11 happened, did you really want George W. Bush to go to Osama bin Laden and turn the other cheek? Being an American and swearing to defend the Constitution are not mutually compatible with Christianity. Sorry, they're just not. Now, interestingly, we had a president some years ago, a very devout man whose life exemplified his Christian values as much as any of ours do, I guess. And this president even continued to teach a Sunday school class while he was in office. Despite this, many right-wing Christians really didn't like him. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, go figure. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Every Tuesday, we check in with Sean Zears, the interim broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild, as he continues to fill in admirably, I may add, for the ailing Archecker, who promises to be back soon. Sean, we can't sugarcoat Thanksgiving weekend at the Town Toyota Center. Salmon Arm, a good team, came into town, and they swept us. Saturday's game competitive. Friday and Sunday, really not so much. Let's go ahead and take things chronologically, Sean. 4-0 shutout on Friday. It was all that we looked like we still had Thanksgiving dinner in our stomachs Friday night.
For the most part, I mean, it was not the best effort that Wenatchee had put out this year, for sure. But, of course, they ran into a buzzsaw and Owen Say, their goaltender. I mean, there's a reason why he's got 10 wins already on the season, and his goals against average is below, 2.5. He looked like there was a beach ball that the puck was, and anything that came his way, he just either batted it away or stopped. I mean, he just looked unstoppable on Friday night. And yeah, there could have been a minor hangover when it came to just Thanksgiving and everything like that. But again, it's just trying to find that home win. I think Wenatchee's just trying as hard as they can. I mean, we only played 5 games all year so far, and we're like, November's done tomorrow or today. So, that's how it is. And they just didn't really look like they were in sync. They didn't get too many scoring chances. And Salmon Arm just put the clamps down on Wenatchee on Friday night.
And on Saturday, we had our best chance of a home victory. What came back to haunt them that I noticed on Saturday, and this has been going on with a lot of games this year, they scored a critical goal either to tie it up or even take the lead. And then before the crowd could even sit down, boom, the opponent scores a quick one, just literally within a minute of Wenatchee scoring a goal. And it just kills momentum. And that happened Saturday night.
It did, and it's happened. You mentioned it. It's happened more than once, and it's so frustrating because they were in the third period, and I had thought right when they scored that game-tying goal, I'm like, all right, we may have a chance here. And not even 35 seconds later, it just evaporates, and it's just the whole entire momentum you had is gone, and you can't do that with a team that is good as Salmon Arm is. I mean, there's a reason why they're only a point behind first place. They have everything: scoring, defense, goaltending. They play a complete game 24/7. Not to say that Wenatchee doesn't, but that was the best effort I think all year that Wenatchee had put out. Chris even said that after the game, that he was unbelievably proud of how well the team played despite the fact that they didn't get the win. Now, if they could come out every game like that, there might be different outcomes with better teams. But as we get to Sunday, well, that's where you can't get behind the 8 ball on a good team.
No, and Salmon Arm is a good team. In 19 games they've played, they've won 15 of their 19 games. And on Sunday, they simply outskated the Wild almost from the very beginning. They looked like they were in total control on Sunday.
Oh, 100%. And when you get down 4-0, you're just not. There's no way of coming back. I mean, it's just they had a different goalie in. Hard to believe he's got a lower goals against average than the starting goalie on Friday and Saturday night. But when you get to that point where you just, you give up goals real quick and you get down too much to a team who's a veteran-laden team, you're not going to win. And unfortunately for Wenatchee, that was the case on Sunday. And, I think Chris was just not. I know he wasn't thrilled at all with the effort that was put out there, and frustrations. You saw a little bit of that on Sunday too, something that hasn't been all year long. And again, third game in 3 nights, same team. You're going to have some stuff happen, and it did. And you had guys get misconducts, which normally you don't see happen, and it's just one of these things where you learn. And I'm sure that they learn from the experience that they have with Salmon Arm that they have to play a complete 60-minute game, and they have to put everything they have in order to beat these teams because they're just really good. I mean, there's some really good teams in that interior division.
Yeah, you mentioned it was definitely out of character because the Wenatchee Wild traditionally, especially since Coach Littler, now Coach Clark has taken over, were usually close to the bottom of the league in penalty minutes. They usually play clean, solid, hard-nosed hockey, but they kind of lost their composure a little bit on Sunday, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, and again, it's when you're down 5-6 to 1 and 2, and Yeah, you have things happen when the whistle blows, and you get these little skirmishes, and some of these skirmishes, the league's not going to put up with it anymore. I mean, they already came out before the season started and said, one, if you get into a fight, you're automatically suspended the next game. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It used to not be that way, but now it is. Well, they're trying to make sure that the game gets a little bit quicker, it flows faster, there's not as many head contacts, and when you have this kind of stuff happen, the refs are not going to put up with it. They're there to make sure that everybody is safe, and that's the most important thing. So if you start cross-checking and you start hitting and you do things like that, nope, you're gone. I mean, luckily, it wasn't a full misconduct where it was a game misconduct, but when two misconducts in the same game never happened before this year with Wenatchee. So frustration rolled over, rightfully so. But I think, again, you learn from those things, and they'll be addressed. And hopefully down the road, we won't, it'll be the other team that'll be doing those kind of things.
Maybe it's the wake-up call that the team gave themselves. You see that occasionally in the world of hockey. Our biggest problem right now, we can't score. 2 goals in 3 days over the weekend, and we're 23 goals upside down on the year so far. We're 23 in the red. That's not good.
No. And there really is no fix for it two away. You either are going to score a lot or you're not going to score at all. And they have talent. I mean, Wenatchee is full of talent, first through the fourth line. And that fourth line can play just as well as the first line. I mean, they're that well balanced. They're really good. The defensemen play a lot. They pinch in a lot. Unfortunately, they just run into a lot of good goalies. I mean, I'm not trying to make any excuses, but, I mean, there's some really good goaltending in this league, and I didn't realize it until I started watching some other teams and getting to see the other teams. And, well, I'll tell you what, there are some really good goaltenders. And when you have, teams that have been playing together for a long time and they have the experience, again, not making excuses, but with Wenatchee not playing last year and a lot of these other teams having already that foundation built, it's going to be tough. It's like you're starting all over, and it's like almost like an expansion team. And that's kind of what Wenatchee's going through right now. So it's still going to take time. I think that there could be more pieces that could eventually be brought in. I mean, I know at the beginning of the season they were kind of swapping people in and out, and now it's kind of leveled off a little bit. But I think there's still some guys who are ready to just break open and break out. Like, and nice transition, your Cade Littler and your Ian Samozas, the guys that are going to the All-Star game, or possibly with Ian, I should say, but you have these guys that are just kind of like locked in still, and they're not showing their full talent, I think. And honestly, I think once that happens, then Wenatchee is going to be a really scary team, because I'm telling you, they're quick, they're fast. They just got to kind of piece it all together and get that final piece in and score more. And I think once that happens, well, rest will take care.
You mentioned Cade Littler. He was voted on by the coaches. The 18 coaches in the league got together, and each team gets to send one coach's representative to the All-Star game, which is a great format. It's going to be outside. It's going to be 3-on-3 mini games. I think it's really cool. And the coaches of the BCHL said, Cade Littler, you're going, and so kudos to him. And the fans can vote on the other one. Walk us through that there, if you don't mind.
So it's bchl.ca/fan vote. Ian Samosa is one of the skaters for the interior division that could go. They're going to field 6 more players and 2 goalies. There's 12 skaters altogether and 4 goalies that are that people can vote on. The voting ends today at 11:59. So, and you can only vote once. So this is the last day for voting. And if Ian gets at least, half the votes, well, then he gets to go along with Cade. And after seeing Ian play this weekend, I'll tell you what, I mean, if there's not one person that's deserving of it, it's him. I mean, he's a complete player, offensively, forechecking, playing special teams, and he's just a really good player that deserves that honor. And so I think it would be really great if you and everybody else, could go and vote, bchl.ca/fan vote, and look for Ian's name, click on it, and vote. because today's the last day.
Yep, get her done. Good news, bad news. There is the Merritt Centennials, who are dead last in the Interior Division. They've played 14 games. The Wild have played 16. They haven't won a game yet. We're supposed to play in Marriott Friday. Mother Nature may have other plans.
Oh, boy. You know, and it's sad talking about this because British Columbia has suffered a lot here in the last month or so with torrential rains and some historic flooding that has been taking place. One of those places was Merritt. 2 weeks ago, the entire town was evacuated because of the flooding. They have not recuperated yet from that. The league has had to reschedule and cancel games, not only with Merritt, but a lot of other teams within the province because of roads being like washed out. Like you can't get to certain towns without having to travel maybe 3-4 hours more than what you need to do. And it makes no sense schedule-wise to have a team go that long to go travel somewhere else when, you know, it just doesn't make any sense. So Friday's game right now is tentatively scheduled to go on. Now, the league's been pretty good about getting things together. Usually today is when they start to kind of go, okay, is this really going to happen? What do we need to do? The last 2 weeks, they've had to cancel 4 games on Saturday, cancel 4 games on Sunday, mix teams together that normally weren't going to play. They go ahead and play, postponing games completely in January. The schedule makers have had their hands full. Dan, I'm telling you, they just, before the season even started with Wenatchee, they've had their hands full, figuring out what's going on with the whole border situation. Now you have this flooding that has caused umpteen travel issues, and any more rain they get up that way, it could cause even more problems. So hopefully they can get the game in. So maybe, and just maybe, we can possibly get a win out of this. But I don't know. There's a gut feeling that tells me that this isn't going to happen, and hopefully it does. But if it doesn't, it would not surprise me a bit.
Yeah, a quick caveat, it's Monday afternoon as we tape this, so things may develop between the time we record this interview with Sean and by the time we air this interview. Right now, as Sean mentioned, it's scheduled to be played Friday night in Merritt, but that could very easily change in the next 24 hours or so. Sean, we like to end on a positive note. Give the Wild fans out there who are watching this morning program something that they can hang their hat on and feel good about the Wild.
Well, it's going to have to be their power play. It has been fantastic here over the last 5 or 6 games. Not so much on Friday, but Saturday they got a power play goal. And Sunday, if I got to remember, I think they also I thought they got a power play goal on Sunday too. It was one of those or maybe they didn't. I'm not. Either way, the power play has been fantastic. It looks like they're clicking. They're finally they're moving around more, and they're getting better. Even as we speak, at one point they were dead last in the league. Dead last, only with 1 goal. They moved all the way up to 7th in the league, just on the fact of how many goals they've scored. So you don't want to put Wenatchee on the power play, special teams wise, because you're going to get scored on. Now, they didn't have many opportunities on Friday, but I can tell you right now that as the season prolongs, usually a power play only gets better. Usually you start at the bottom and you work your way up, or you go all the way down once you hit that plateau. They haven't hit their plateau yet. So I think we got better things to come when it comes for the power play, and that's going to lead to victories as well.
And there's also this. The Seattle Kraken are playing pretty good hockey. Carolina had the most wins in the league, and they beat the Hurricanes at home. Then they went down to Florida. Although they lost to the 2-time defending Stanley Cup champion Tampa Bay, they turned right around and beat the Florida Panthers, who've been beating everybody else. And then they had Buffalo last night. Kraken are starting to look pretty good for us fans here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I'm happy for you guys up there. You know what? It's been so long since you've had a team that's actually played indoors in an arena. Seahawks and the Mariners, of course, baseball and football outdoors, and now you got yourself an indoor team. I love the name. I love the name. I love the logo. I love everything about it. It's just unfortunate I can't make it up there to watch my team, St. Louis, play because, Vince Dunn, of course, a defenseman for the Kraken, used to play for the Blues, and he's doing very well up there. I'm happy to see that. And I don't know. I just think that that Western, the Pacific Division is definitely one to keep an eye on, because if the Kraken can put a few wins on there, who knows? I mean, once you get past Edmonton and Calgary, it's not that good up that way. So I think Seattle, heck, they could make the playoffs. You never know.
I like the Seattle Kraken logo, but I'll tell you this much right now. I like the St. Louis Blues logo better. In fact, I think the Blues have the best logo in the NHL. Personal opinion.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sean Zears, the broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. And again, hopefully they got Merritt this Friday at 7 o'clock. Then they have Penticton Saturday at 6. One way or the other, we will visit again next week. All right, Sean?
Amen to that. We'll talk to you next week.
You know it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
All right, we are back. Before we do the weather forecast, one more friendly reminder. Santa Claus is coming to town. Well, you probably knew that. But more specifically, he's going to make his grand entrance in a helicopter at Hooked on Toys this Saturday at 12 noon. Straight up, get ready. A Life Flight Network helicopter is going to bring Santa right down to the parking lot at Hooked on Toys at North Wenatchee Avenue. The Lifeline Ambulance truck and trailer will be there. They're going to have coffee and coca and donuts and cookies. The Douglas County Fire District number 2 will be there with a couple of fire trucks for the kids to look. Ballard Ambulance will be there to help collect toys. Could be really cool. Santa coming down in a helicopter in the parking lot at Hooked on Toys this Saturday at 12 noon. It's all part, of course, of the NCW Community Toy Drive presented by Les Schwab. Just go to lstoydrive.com for more information, or you can just go to your Facebook page and type in Community Toy Drive, NCW Community Toy Drive in the bar, and you are good to go. All right, mild weather, unseasonably mild weather. We came that close to breaking a record yesterday. We did, of course, set a new record high. On Sunday, we're going to be closing in on another record high to begin December tomorrow. Now, it's going to be a little bit cooler today. We had 61 on Monday, very mild. It's still going to be plenty mild. We'll be mid-50s anyway today. And anything with a red star, which is Wednesday, means we're going to be pretty close, if not past, a record high. Now, they're a little conservative with that 60-degree mark for the Wenatchee Valley. I think we're going to be warmer than that on Wednesday. In fact, I think we're going to set a new record high on Wednesday. Then we're going to cool down a little bit. Let's give you a forecast in details. For the day today, still plenty mild. Lots of clouds, no real rain in the forecast. We'll top off at 55. Our normal high this time of the year is 38. Whew. It feels more like April than November. 45 for the overnight low tonight. Wednesday, 63 degrees for the afternoon high. Now, if we get to 63, that would be a new record high for December 1st. The old record high, well, the current record high, 62 degrees, set back in 1972. I think we're going to break it tomorrow. I think we're going to break it by a degree, maybe 2 on Wednesday. 43 for the overnight low. Thursday is going to be a very odd day. That 52 degree for the afternoon high is not going to be the afternoon high. It's going to be the morning high. We'll top off at about 52 degrees, we think, Thursday morning at about 4 or 5 a.m. And then as Thursday progresses, we're actually going to get colder as the next system comes in. As you can see, considerably cooler on Friday with only 46. But even at 46, 49, 45, 47, those temperatures are still well above normal for this time of the year. All right, that's it for us. We will see you tomorrow to begin December. Take care. Bye-bye.